Such a lifetime. This is your final fight. This is your blade. This is your lifetime. This is where it ends.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Raz here again with another recap. And today I am joined by Phil the Future, the Encyclopedia of Wrestle Talk. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Doing great, Raz.
Thank you for joining me on this night. It's always good to see you. Always a good time when you're here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's been going on in your world besides the fact that you turned the big 25?
Nothing too crazy has really happened. Still just going through things, and was hoping this night was really going to help us get full gear into kickoff, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get there. Overall, what did you think of the whole show going forward? Like, for a go-home show?
I think for the entire, I remember like just observing the card for tonight, and I thought the way it was all set up, tonight was going to be pretty good. It was going to be pretty good, but I feel like even though the idea of it was great, the execution was not entirely there.
I can definitely agree with you on that. The execution felt lackluster, and it felt like some of it was secondary to what was coming into Full Gear. Like, we could have advanced more of the stories going into it, but we didn't really get much of that going into this show.
Right.
Yeah. I felt that overall the show wasn't bad, but it wasn't like something I'd go home and rave about. Definitely.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that statement.
So we kicked off tonight's show with being the Full Gear Go Home show. We kicked that off with the not Bullet Club, Blackpool Combat Club.
Against I guess you could say Orange Hook. I don't know.
Yeah, Orange Hook, Orange Cassidy and Hook. With Yuta picking up the win in this match via the seatbelt.
Yeah. Moxley Moxley hit the Death Rider, which allowed Wheeler to lock in the seatbelt, no pun intended there, for the win. But that's been the second time now that Hook has been pinned in his wrestling career.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it in Discord, and I thought it was the first time he'd been pinned, but you brought up the fact of when he was pinned by Jack Perry back in the day for the FTW title.
Correct.
Yeah, but yes, second time that Hook's been pinned. It was interesting that they went with that choice. I'm glad they let you to get the pinfall here.
Oh yeah, I mean, and honestly, I feel like it would have been. I mean, I guess it could have gone both ways, because with Hook getting pinned, that was the second time that would have been the second time he got pinned in his career. If it was Orange that got pinned, I understand why they didn't want to have Orange be the one taking the pin, because they still wanted him to look strong. going into full gear, knowing that he's got the rubber match with Mox over the international title.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think it could have been, if they'd given it the pinfall to like if Orange had been the one to eat the pin, I think it might have played better in the story.
Right.
But at the same time, someone had to eat the pin. I'm just glad it wasn't Yuta this time around.
Yeah.
Because usually in those matches, it's Yuta that eats the pinfall. So.
Yeah.
What did you think of the match overall? Like, I thought it was not super strong match to start the show.
Yeah, for some reason, usually whenever Orange Cassidy usually starts off a show with a match, it usually like sets off a very good tone for the rest of the show. Just knowing that we've really been used to Orange Cassidy defending the international title as being the very first thing that happens on almost every card. And just knowing that, and then seeing how just kind of seeing how everything just didn't, like, there was just a lot of stuff that kind of just, I think, kind of felt like it fell sideways, especially with the fact that that I forget exactly what it was. I think it was like Moxley had Hook or something. Orange thought Moxley was thirsty, hit him with the orange punch, but Moxley just ate it like a champ and said, "Man, I'm not thirsty right now." Death Rider.
Yeah. No, I thought it was. I didn't think it was a super strong match compared to what it could have been and what he's usually done in the show. So. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in that regard, but these things do happen. So, yeah. Next up, we had we had Tony Schiavone in the ring with Hangman Page and Swerve doing a confrontation.
I liked that. That was nice. That was a pressure.
I like the fact that here we got the two guys not touching each other, the no physicality thing. I like that. And I like the way they ended it. I really enjoyed the way they ended it, and they had Prince Nana getting taken out by Hangman.
Oh, yeah, like I didn't know where that was going at first because what was it? Because Hangman was saying, "Yeah, they say there's no contact between you and me." But not at him, and then just boom, knocks him to the ground and just goes after him. I'm like, what? Not Nana. Not Nana.
I thought it was really well done. I thought they did that brilliantly in that regard. As for the match itself, I'm looking forward to see what we're going to get from here. Also want to shout out Anthony Graves in the pod, or Anthony Graves pod in the chat. Thank you for coming along.
Doing all right.
Hello to Kai in the chat.
DM is right. Steal the weed. We cannot forget the dig that Adam Page just threw off on Prince Nana. Like, he basically saying that all he's doing is riding the coattails of Swerve by doing the dance, selling T-shirts, and then going off somewhere to buy weed from the local high school kid. I'm like, that's too much. Chill.
But it worked brilliantly. Like, come on, you got to admit, it was amazing, and it fits the narrative. So
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that at all. That's just like he went off. Well, obviously because of the house break-in too, but like still.
So that was that. That was that. I think the fact that we got a fired up Hangman was really, really well done. I liked the way they did that. And I like the fact that when he's taking out Nana or Nada, whatever he's called, they still keep to the rule.
Yep.
Swerve still keeps to the rule that if he was hit or if he touches Hangman, the match is off.
Yeah, like Swerve was going to do something, but he's like, oh, wait, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. I thought they could have, they did really, really well in that. So, yeah, I'm very impressed in that regard. So, next up, we had a backstage segment with Roddy Strong and him calling Adam Cole. And you got to love these moments. You got to love these moments, especially with the whole wheelchair situation. And he's gone to the other shows and wrestled. So Roddy's gone to the other shows and wrestled. So.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, like Adam is adamant that MJF is not the devil. Roddy is very adamant that MJF is still the devil and will always be the devil. But oh my gosh,
yeah, 100%. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they play it out from here. So we'll find out in a few days' time, I guess. We'll find out that.
Okay, Anthony Grizz, I want to touch on now that you've brought that up. I know for certain that that neither Britt Baker nor CM Punk is the devil. If it's Jungle Boy, I'm out of here.
But what makes you think that it's not CM Punk?
Like, it's weird because I was talking to a few people earlier today. They showed like the devil mask, and then they showed CM Punk like with his sort of like with his upper body like almost in exact proportion to the mask. I get where people come from because it's like they look exactly the same. They must be connected. I'm just like, I don't know. I really don't think it's him.
See, I'm torn because I want it to be him. I want it to be Punk, but I'm also understanding if it's not Punk. But I don't know who it could be. Like, I don't know who it could be in that regard. Like, who do you think? Because I don't think Britt Baker works.
Yeah,
I don't think Britt Baker works. Like everybody, I've had other people pitch that too, and I don't think Britt Baker would work too well as the devil because it just seems then lackluster in what they're offering.
Yeah, because I feel like with how they're trying to use the devil now, they're trying to use the devil to connect it to either MJF and or Adam Cole. So thinking of people that have some type of personal vendetta against MJF in particular by taking the whole devil mask idea. There's not a lot of people you can really like solidify as good choices because it's either A, they're not able to do it at the moment because of other circumstances, or B, it wouldn't add up. What if it's someone that was released by WWE like Dolph Ziggler? Well, Graves, just quick. I don't think Dolph's out of that 90-day no compete clause yet.
I was about to say
so
that.
It wouldn't be somebody like Ziggler or Ali or Riddle or anybody like that.
That's what I was about to say. I don't think they're out of the 90-day compete clause yet, which makes this quite hard. I kind of have to agree with Kai here. It's probably going to be someone stupid. It's probably going to be someone.
Nakazawa.
If it's Michael Nakazawa, then I'm turning off AEW permanently.
No, yeah, like if it's somebody like Michael Nakazawa or Brandon Cutler, it's like I'm done.
Yeah. But I think they need to deliver on this story. I think they need to give us someone that is a strong name. It can't just be someone who is mid at best.
Right.
Like, because it plays across all different things. It plays across Adam Cole. It plays across... it plays across MJF's past. I'll bring that up.
Yeah, unless they reveal the dough at a random point. I don't know, just a thought. Yeah. I'm just excited to see who it is. I'm not really trying to take like any like this. I think it's definitely this person. You know, I've locked it. I'm locked in. You know, all that. I'm really just waiting to kind of just be surprised and not really have someone try and tell me about it. But
Kai brings up a good point. They might be having someone portray the role, but waiting for the 90-day clause. So
that is possible.
Could we not get a reveal this weekend? Could we end up going through Full Gear and there is no reveal of who the devil is?
I think it's possible.
Like last week, I did some fantasy booking, and I know it's a major fantasy, but
yeah,
like I said on last week's show, have the devil come out, like get the show over and done with. MJF retains the belt, have the devil come out to end the show, and then the next week you start Survivor Series with Symphony for the Devil playing. The devil walks out carrying the red bag, and then as a twist, he says, "I'm not here as a WWE employee. I'm here as the real world's champion."
Oh my gosh.
And we are taking over War Games.
Oh my gosh. Really, Kai? It's going to be Rikishi because he did it for The Rock. He did it for the people.
As much as that would be hilarious, Rikishi's dedicated to his boys in the E. So
AEW's WWE. I mean, it's something that I know a lot of people of both sides would be eager to see. And honestly,
that would be if my fantasy booking came to reality. That is the biggest swerve and biggest move in professional wrestling ever. Bigger than the NWO, bigger than DX, bigger than anything.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Anyway, we move on from that backstage segment and we get to Sky Blue versus Red Velvet for the TBS title eliminator.
Yeah.
I've got a few things to say about this match because I'm one of the people who wants Sky Blue in the title scene.
Agreed.
But I'm also worried how it's going to play out at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts?
So
as you take about for food, of course.
It's okay. Well, I actually forgot that Julia Hart was involved in this match. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be different. So seeing Red Velvet and Sky Blue getting this chance to get themselves on the pay-per-view to challenge for the TBS title. At first, I was a bit skeptical because I as much as I love Sky Blue, I was a little worried that Red Velvet could have stolen it, because I know she's only been back for like maybe 2-3 weeks, but honestly, Red Velvet, in at least in my opinion, she is also very talented in the ring. I remember watching a lot of her matches in like Elevation and Dark, and like a few times, and then the few times like on Dynamite and Rampage, and she definitely knows how to go.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. She knows how to go, and she's a good talent to have. I agree with you. I thought it could have gone to Red Velvet. Would have been a great switch up for the pay-per-view, because people would have been expecting Sky Blue to go through. And I like the fact that this wasn't just a squash match. This wasn't just we knew Sky Blue was going to win. It looked legitimately like Red Velvet could actually take the win here. Exactly.
That's why, like that's mainly why, like, Sky Blue has been on. I know it's only been like maybe a 2 or 3 match winning streak, and Red Velvet has also been starting to maintain a good win-loss record for herself as well from being back. So putting the two of them in this match, honestly, it could have gone either way. Like, my heart, my mind, like, I don't know. It's like my mind and heart were both telling me that Sky Blue was going to win, but like I had a feeling in my gut that Red Velvet could have easily upset.
Yeah, what do you think that is going to happen at Full Gear
with Full Gear? This I mean is something. I mean, obviously, knowing what. Looking at how Sky's been behaving the past few weeks, even like with the especially with the way her eye makeup and her mascara is going on with the blue and black going on with the eyes, it still has me a bit confused, because it's a little confusing to me, just because at this point, like, I know she's been misted and all that, and of course with Julia Hart, when she got misted by Malachi, it took her like a couple weeks, I think, or maybe even like 2 or 3 months before she officially went completely dark and joined the House of Black. For Sky Blue and Julia, knowing Julia now knows how to use the Black Mist, but Sky, on the other hand, after she was misted by Julia, she must have, while keeping the idea of kayfabe alive, like, she must have inherited something from being attacked by Black Mist, because she used because obviously she now has a blue mist, which, I mean, it fits the character. It shows the connection. It shows that there is some sort of a connection with how the mist affects people. Affects the wrestlers kayfabe wise. So when it comes to this triple threat, I wouldn't even be surprised if if this ended up becoming more of a double team and basically Sky assisted Julia Hart in taking the title off of her, or vice versa.
I can see that, and I think in the Discord it was mentioned that too, that Julia's going to win the belt, and it's going to be with the assistance of Sky Blue. I think that's probably what we're going to. You're right. That's probably what we are going to see. I think that we have a good story going into it, and I'm just keen to see where it goes. It was brought up previously, I think last week on this show. Are we potentially seeing a female House of Black?
A female House of Black, honestly, I feel like as much as that sounds cool, I don't I get the understanding behind a female House of Black ish, but at the same time, I don't know how the other how Malachi, Brody, and Buddy would really consider it if Julia all of a sudden makes a sub cult out of what the House of Black already practices.
If we did, who do you, besides obviously Sky Blue, who else would you add to the collective?
I mean, there's not a whole lot of I mean, there is a big variety of female talent you can use, but it's kind of hard to think about because obviously Sky. There is I still feel like since Willow also has been misted that she could eventually turn as well, knowing that she and Sky are very good close friends inside and outside the ring. I wouldn't be surprised if Willow Nightingale was a part of it whatsoever. As far as anyone else, it's a bit of a tough one.
Yeah, it's one that you can think about as well. It's not something that obviously is going to come to fruition in such a big way overnight. Right. I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen over a period of a few months, and we're going to get like we got with Julia misting Sky and Willow. She's going to select certain people to mist, and then either they'll turn straight away or they'll be the way this has happened. So,
agreed.
Yeah. Next up, we got a Miro video package for Collision, basically saying he's going to take on Daniel Garcia. That he's unhappy with his hot and flexible wife, CJ Perry.
All you had to do was.
What do you think about this? What do you think about Miro and them using Miro and CJ together?
The fact of them using Miro and CJ for me, for me, I think it's a bit of a new dynamic. Usually, when you kind of look at pro wrestling, it usually works out to where the actual husband-wife relationship is able to sort of blend itself in with the kayfabe of pro wrestling, so that the two of them are able to sort of bounce off of each other in different ways. The fact that CJ Perry has decided to make her presence known in AEW by making herself a manager for any of the talent that's interested in working with her, in this case Andrade El Idolo. I can see why it kind of throws Miro off a little bit, because like I feel like what I'm seeing Miro do right now is that he's picking up. What he's doing is he's one by one eliminating any sort of wrestler that's not doing anything with a faction or a stable, that is sort of on their own, sort of has backup, or none at all. He's taking those certain people that CJ would most likely, get to manage, and try to eliminate them from the picture. He did that. He's done that already with Action. He's done it with Action Andretti already. Now we've got Daniel Garcia is the next piece of meat to be served to the Redeemer.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only person though that he hasn't touched though that's related that CJ kind of already has, like I said, is Andrade. But then again, that confuses me more, because Andrade I feel like could be doing something very different, because Andrade was the guy who started he started the rebirth of Le Facción Ingobernables with AEW, and he was the one that brought in El Toro Blanco Rouge and like paved the way for like Dralistico, and I guess you could also say Jose the assistant, and then Preston Vance when he decided to Dark Order, which I saw in person, which was like, you son of a bitch, why? Tell me.
But in saying that, I also think Preston Vance has had a lot more of a I think Preston Vance has pushed beyond the character of what Dark Order could have given him. So
I totally see that. I totally see that now. It was just when I saw that moment live, I was like low key hurt, because I was there. I got there early because I obviously got to. I went to a meet and greet before the thing even happened, and I met Sky Blue, obviously. So I got to talk with her a little bit. Cool person. I mean, she's an absolute sweetheart, obviously. Got to meet Wardlow. Wardlow, surprisingly, a very chill guy when you get to meet him.
I've heard that. I've heard he's a nice guy to actually chill out and hang out with.
Oh yeah, he's great he's a really great guy to have a conversation with, and like he's much different than the war dog that you see on TV. And then of course sort of a 2-in-1 where it was 10 and then -1, which was probably for me the icing on the cake. Getting to actually meet -1, knowing that this, like, the fact that not only is this like Brody Lee's son, but like knowing that he's a kid that's kind of gonna have a staple to AEW for like the rest of his life, whether he decides to continue wrestling like in his dad's honor or he does something else. He's still going to be part of the AEW family regardless. So
that's one thing. That's one thing I think Tony Khan's done really well, and that's the fact that with the fact that Brody passed away, he kept -1 on the pay. He's like put -1 on the payroll. Okay, it's not a huge amount, but he's said that as soon as he turns 18, he's guaranteed a contract if he wants it. But they're paying the family. They're keeping an income for the family going. So I think that works really well. Obviously, we've got a while to wait in that regard, and we find out in a few years whether or not -1 actually makes that jump and comes to AEW and stays there, or whether or not he disappears and just lives a home life sort of thing.
Right, exactly.
So after the Miro video package, we had Mariah May in her second ever appearance on AEW, backstage getting to meet Timeless Tony Storm.
As I love it. As soon as the door to her dressing room opens, boom! Like as soon as the door opens to her dressing room, everything goes black and white, which obviously smart,
Very hard to
very smart.
Very quick. You have to be very quick on that button production wise. So, like, that's a hard move to do. Like, I remember a few years ago watching WWE and watching them do the WrestleMania video, and they have only like 30 seconds to have the full recap video completed by the end of the show. They have 30 seconds to splice things together. So it's very, very good production that they could do that.
Absolutely.
Like, do that black and white and color instantly.
Mm-hmm. And then one vibe I'm really getting out of Mariah May, like, I've seen like, a couple Mariah May matches, and I will say, like, she is a very she's a very talented individual, especially one coming out of Stardom. But the one thing that kind of has me like there's something different about her is that she's giving me that Mickey James super fan type of vibe, the way that she's freaking out over Tony Storm.
Yep. You're not wrong. It's that stalker vibe again. And I think it would be interesting. And hello, Travis. Welcome to the chat. It's good to see you again. We got the Phil here today, filling in for, filling in, essentially. I don't know. It's a rotating roster that comes through here, so I don't mind. I'm happy with whoever's with me.
But we got Mariah May being able to like actually enter the dressing room, and Tony's doing exactly what I think I figure she would have been doing if somebody were to come in and check in on her and see what she's doing, just laying down on the love seat with the cucumbers over the eyes, just taking the time to relax.
Travis, that doesn't matter. That's why we're here. We're here to help recap the show. So you may have missed it, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to recap and give you any information we can. So next up was our match with Samoa Joe and John Cruz. I laughed when he did the walk away and John Cruz looked and was like, what the hell, man?
That's the thing with Samoa Joe that I have always loved. There's always been something, there's always in some match, there's always been something where a wrestler has always done a dive move, but yet Samoa Joe somehow activates Ultra Instinct and just walks away as they just crash and burn. Just like,
but I love the fact that John Cruz had the emotion on his face of to say, what the hell? Like, it worked perfectly for the match. And Taz even brought it up on commentary. He was like, it's like he said, what the hell? Like, why is he walking away? Like, hold on, man. You're supposed to stay there. You're not supposed to move.
I know. But then again, when you bring in like actual logic, it's like, I'm not just like, usually it's not like, okay, I'm just gonna stand here, act dazed. Next thing you know, he's gonna hit me with a move that just, oh, he got me. It's just like, you really think I'm gonna fall for this? Nope.
Travis, in answer to your question, Chris Statlander was on the show, but she was not wrestling.
She was just watching the match between Red Velvet and Sky Blue, so that now we know that it's official that we will get that we will get Chris Statlander defending the title against both Julia Hart and Sky Blue at Full Gear.
As you can see by the picture that is on the screen.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yes, we get Sky Blue, Chris Statlander, and Julia Hart for the TBS Championship this Saturday, live at Full Gear.
Wait, Jake, they're making the Tony Storm Mariah May storyline based off the classic 1950 film All About Eve. Oh, yo, Jake, I got to admit, man, you are not wrong. Back when I was up in Chicago, I was with this small little theater group that would do these little things called radio plays, where we have a little stage like set up where people would just read lines of different characters and have somebody on the side just providing all the funny little sound effects you get from like the actual from like to make it seem like something real or whatever. But we went over, that was one that I actually got to be a part of, and now that you brought that up, I'm like, yes, it clicked.
Travis,
I don't think she's going to retain. Honestly, it could go to either Sky or Julia.
Yeah, I have some bad news for you, my friend. Unfortunately, I don't think Chris is going to retain the belt. Man. We could be wrong, but I guess we find out on Saturday, or Sunday for me, Saturday for you guys. If you're not able to watch the show, I'll possibly do a Full Gear review. If everybody's down for it, I'll do a Full Gear review, even if it's after the 15 hours of the pay-per-view being on. I mean, you know how AEW likes to go long with their pay-per-views. So, but the one thing is they always put on good quality pay-per-views.
Absolutely.
Right. I think I've only ever seen one that's really stunk, and that was earlier this year. Yeah. I think that was Double or Nothing this year that really was the not so fantastic show.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking also.
Yeah. So next up we had Penta and Commander versus the Young Bucks. Now,
yep. Ray was out. Of course, Ray was out with the injury, so they brought in the AAA Cruiserweight Champion instead to give him the backup. And honestly, this was a phenomenal match. I think this one was probably match of the night.
It was definitely match of the night. I think that unfortunately there were spots that were done in this match. Same was with what was the main event match, where things weren't communicated properly. One spot I didn't like was where one of the Bucks just drops to the mat for no reason whatsoever, and then Penta gets up on the ropes. I think it was Nick Jackson. Was it Nick? No, it was Matt Jackson. Yeah, he drops to the mat for no reason, and it's like, and you can see him looking up at Penta. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch it.
I'll have to take another look, because like that was weird.
Was that the one that was at the pay-per-view where the dude came out in blackface? Was that Double or Nothing? Possibly. I'm not sure. You might be right there, Kai. I'm not 100% sure. But other than that, the Bucks using the Jericho's Judas effect elbow.
That was I kind of like they inquire that in there just to highlight on the match that they're going to be having against the Golden Jets. But I also found it interesting that I believe the backstage interviewer, I think her name's Lexi Nair, I think.
Yeah.
she mentioned, like, why did you decide to cheat in your hometown?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because we go backstage with the Bucks and they are talking about cheating, and then they say that's who the Bucks are now. Like, that's the best Bucks. And it's like, and then we get Kenny coming into the screen, and they say that's how Kenny won his title. And like, that's when Kenny was at his best. And then they say the heat's not with him, it's with Jericho.
And then of course Jericho shows up in the suit.
Yep. And then as they're walking away, the Bucks attack Jericho.
Yeah, and then we get that little bit of the scuffle, the kerfuffle, the fracas, the brouhaha, that merch. That.
What do you think we're getting on Saturday with that match with the Bucks and Jericho and Kenny? Do you think we're getting the Bucks obviously being the heels in this one?
I feel like the Bucks are definitely going to be going in to full gear, looking like heels. I feel like when they get to the Kia Forum, they're obviously going to be getting a lot of cheers because, again, it's LA. It's basically their state. They're on their home turf. Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho are both, like, especially with them being being tagged as the Golden Jets, they're going to be seen as, oh, those are those guys from Winnipeg. Boo, we don't like Canadian stuff,
Yeah. I think that obviously Jericho is going to get the cheers because of his theme and stuff like that. I unfortunately think that this is a Jericho inserting himself into a match so that he's still on the card sort of thing. Like Jericho feeding his ego sort of situation. Like, it's not one I'm kind of excited for it because it's Bucks versus Kenny, but I'm not excited for it at the same time.
Agreeable.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Gun Club coming out for their match. Not even 30 seconds.
Yeah, barely even 30 seconds. All it took was 1-3. 1-3-10 to Yuma, and that's all it took. But there's something, though. I've been slightly seeing this over time, and what I'm gonna say may be a little rough, or I could say it could be too blunt. But this is just how I feel. When it comes to the Gun Brothers, Austin and Colton, Colton to me is like the Marty Jannetty of the Gun Brothers. The only thing that's cool about him really is just the hair. There's nothing about him like energy. There's nothing about him like energy-wise that really gets me saying like, oh yeah, I like this guy. When you get Austin Gunn goes all in with the character. Like he's in the moment with it. Like he's totally rocking like the area where he's given the time to speak, because he's got the energy in his voice. He's got like, he's got all that energy to let out, where it seems like Colton, every time he grabs the mic, he tries to make it so that he tries to sound cool. He tries to sound like a heel and all that, but it comes out like unseasoned chicken, just bland.
Yeah.
See, you can't get me to care about a Jericho winning Bucks match. Kenny really has to be ready for me to even do it. But yeah, like
yeah. I think you're right in that one. Like with the Guns, unfortunately, there is that that whole Marty Jannetty scenario, and it sucks because their dad's a Hall of Famer, and one of them had to get the goods, and the other unfortunately didn't. So
true.
Yeah. Can't really say much about that match because it was just literally a squash. There was no real point to it. Obviously, do the domination thing for the fact that they've got the ROH tag title match coming up at Full Gear.
And MJF don't have a partner still.
Yeah, we had Wardlow video, another Wardlow video calling for MJF. Once again, Wardlow's back. He's looking dominant. These past few weeks they haven't had him wrestle, but they've had video packages. So yeah, not much to say about that. So the main event match of the night, we're already there. Like that shows you how this card was tonight.
Yeah.
Was the Don Callis family versus the Golden Jets and Paul White. In the Sega video game,
Like a Dragon, the man who erased his name.
Yeah, the Sega video game, no rules match.
Yeah, but what I found interesting though was that with the Don Callis family, obviously we got we have the members of the family in Hobbs, Kyle Fletcher, and Takeshita, but for the match specifically, they enlisted the help of Mogul Embassy member Brian Cage.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not real, and again, I'm not really mad with that at all. They brought it. They decided to temporarily bring Brian Cage in to help represent them strongly, and then you got Jericho, the Golden Lovers making their intro, and then Paul White came out to his New Room New View theme, which honestly way better than anything WCW or WWE could even come up with. It fits him so much more, even though it's got the whole "well" in it. But it works.
Well, I'm a bit slow.
Yeah, big slow.
Now, obviously, Paul White was, I don't know how recently, but he had hip surgery and knee surgery.
Yeah, he did.
So he couldn't really do too much in the match, but he did take a big bump in this match.
Yeah, and I mean he did a lot in it too. Like he went and put Kyle Fletcher like probably a foot deep after like choke slamming him through the table. I'm like, damn, already Kyle down.
Yeah.
And then which then led to him getting into the big scuffle and a battle of fisticuffs with Hobbs. It looked like Paul White was taking everything, but then Hobbs just went and body slammed him right onto the windshield and the hood of the I think it was an Audi or whatever, but still dang. And then as soon as he took that bump, like that guy wasn't moving, so of course somebody needed to call the medic. I'm like, yo, really? 3-on-4? Come on.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that, man. Like that bump on the car was insane because he didn't just Paul White did not just hit that dead center. He hit it right on the edge.
Yeah.
And that's not really a something that's got a lot of give when you're hitting it right on an edge. I personally feel this match went on way too long. For me, it felt like it went for 3 hours. I did notice a spot where you had Kenny and Coda in the ring. they had to wait for Brian Cage to get into position before they could actually do the over the top, or the top turnbuckle.
The moonsault.
Yeah.
I thought it was because it looked like Kenny and Kota, it looked like they were about to do like a best friends hug. To me, it almost looked like they were trying to do a best friends hug. And I don't know if Tony was going to say you got to give the people what they want when it came to that one, but it was weird because it was like you could tell that there was like some sort of slight delay. I didn't know it was because of Brian Cage on the outside. I thought Kota was confused, and like Kenny's like, you're supposed to go over to there and do the thing, remember? Like, that's what it looked like. And then also Kota had that kind of really cringy moment where he went to the top of the ramp, he got on a bicycle, and then just took like a freaking like foam sword.
It was supposed to be a steel pole.
It was supposed to be like a steel pole, but like it looked like the thing was made out of like a pool noodle. Like he hit Fletcher and he went, oh, he fell over. Hit Takeshita, he just went, oh, and then Brian Cage comes around and just sit your silly ass down. And then Takeshita took the bike in the ring and then just started swinging that around like it was some type of big weapon. And I'm like, what are you doing?
My guess is because it's part of the video game, they had to put a spot in there involving the bike. But you're right, it didn't make any sense. Like it shouldn't have been in the match. I get why they had to do it because the match was sponsored by the video game, but yeah, I felt this match went on way too long. I don't think it was a great match. I'm glad it wasn't on the pay-per-view because I would have been very unhappy if it was on the pay-per-view. I think this could have been honestly better if it was done on Rampage.
Yeah.
If they'd done that on Rampage and left it to Rampage and not the main show, and instead we got a match or a segment there where we got furthering of a storyline or furthering of something that's coming up at the pay-per-view. Like we didn't see Darby, we didn't see Adam Copeland, we didn't see Sting this week. Like we didn't see Christian, we didn't see Lucha Kane, and like Pokemon Collector.
Yeah, we didn't see Nick Wayne either. Like and I keep hearing them say that, like, Full Gear is like, this is Sting's last time wrestling. I'm like, well, whatever happened to Revolution 2024?
Yeah. I think they're saying it's the last time wrestling in that state. I think. Because the Revolution obviously is going to be. I don't even know where the hell they're holding Revolution, but that's going to be the last time he actually wrestles.
Right.
Yeah. We get to the main event segment of the show, which was MJF coming out to the ring. Now, obviously, we've got MJF versus Jay White for the World Championship this coming Saturday at Full Gear. MJF narrates basically how he feels bad, like the way things are going, and he feels bad and he feels like he's going to let the crowd down. What do you think we're getting out of this match? Because obviously we get the Bullet Club attacking MJF at the end of the show, and that's how the show ends. He's been beaten down by the Bullet Club. What do you think? What do you honestly think is going to happen at the end of the pay-per-view?
I feel like in some way there will be some type of interference involved. That I mean, I guess if I'm going off of like stuff that I think it would be very common, I feel like we would get somebody on the guns like interfering. I don't really know anybody right now who's with MJF or even around him that is even gonna like help him out, since the only real person that would do it for him is Adam Cole, but Adam Cole's obviously going away right now just to heal up from his knee injury.
Yeah.
I just don't know. But then again, I have a bit of a feeling that if the person behind the devil mask was responsible for Jay White getting like completely like gangbang, pause, that probably came out wrong, getting completely destroyed, getting completely like wiped out by the quote unquote devil and his goons. Just knowing a little bit of that.
See, the problem I have here is this devil situation started with the devil taking out Jay White.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's turned and they're taking out MJF's colleagues. So it plays into so many different things. It plays into so many different things. I guess we're going to learn more as the pay-per-view like unfolds. I'm kind of hoping that at the pay-per-view we do get a reveal of who the devil is, because I'm pretty sure that will just solidify AEW, especially if it is CM Punk. It'll solidify AEW, but who knows? Yeah. Sorry, the school's just got out, so if you can hear kids in the background,
it's good.
It's outside. But I'm intrigued to see where we go from here. We've got Full Gear coming up this weekend. Clearly, one of AEW's biggest pay-per-views at the Kia Forum. Do you think it's going to be a fully packed house?
I honestly don't know how big the Kia Forum is, but I think since at least you're getting a lot of representation from, I think since you've got representation from like the Bucks, and I want to say there might be a few others that are sort of, I think, from LA. Like I think Red Velvet's a bit of an LA person herself, even though Justin Roberts uses her bill as from Straight Out Your Mama's Kitchen, but I think she's a bit of an LA person. I could be mistaken or not, but I think I don't know. I think it's been a while since pay-per-view has been in LA, so I think this one could be packed.
Yeah. Let's find out actually. Kia Forum. Where is it? The Google machine? The capacity is 17,500 and 17,500.
Ah.
I mean, there's a possibility they could do it, but I know the product hasn't been too hot lately, so I guess we'll see how it goes.
True.
I hope they pack it out, because it's a pay-per-view, and I think they need to pack it out. I think something needs to revitalize AEW.
Yeah, which is probably why Tony Khan is announcing the massive signing of somebody new to the roster.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. They're signing their contract at the pay-per-view. Now,
just like Jay Lethal signed his at Full Gear 2021.
Yeah.
And just like when Christian signed his contract at Revolution.
And when Swerve signed his contract as well.
Yep.
My question is who could it be? Because there's no real massive free agents besides potentially Hammerstone.
Right.
Like, he's probably the biggest free agent that is possible. Ziggler's, as we discussed, Ziggler's still within the 90 days. Ospreay's contract's not up till about February 2024.
Right.
Who the hell could they sign to a contract that is so beloved or so respected that would make it a dent on?
This could be a little bit of a shot in the dark with what I'm about to say, but I know Moxley has been. I know a couple people from AEW, including Moxley, have been like really been on Tony Khan to sign this one guy that's become a free agent as of recently, and honestly, and I know he's kind of known more for doing like more deathmatch style matches, but still puts on good performances nonetheless. I'm talking no other than OVE's finest, Sami Callihan.
I could agree with you on that, but I don't think he's such an impactful name.
That's ironic.
Yeah, that's why I went there. I don't think he's such an impactful name because his stint in WWE wasn't anything super fantastic.
I knew he was in WWE, dang.
When he was in NXT, he didn't really do anything super fantastic. When he was in Impact, he was okay, but
world champion at one point.
Yeah, like nothing that really stood out in my eyes. I mean, I'm not doubting his ability because he has really good ability and he's a really good character. But
yeah, again, since he's more of a deathmatch type wrestler.
Yeah, I just don't think he's as impactful as what they actually want for the show.
Right.
Yeah. That's about it for what we've discussed. What we discussed with Dynamite and everything. Overall, not a great show, not the worst show. I think there could have been better segments used in better positions to further the card for the pay-per-view. Speaking of that, let's have a look at the card for 2023's Full Gear. What do we got? We have, where are we? Come on. So we have MJF and a partner of his choosing to take on the Guns for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. Who do you think's walking out the winner on this one?
If I guess really for MJF, it completely depends on who he ends up agreeing to tag with to defend the titles. But honestly, I think I feel like the Guns could be a surprise in this time and become 2-time AEW Tag Team Champs. But
Well, it's not the AEW tag titles; it's the ROH World Tag titles. So,
it's Ring of Honor. That's what I meant. Okay.
yeah.
So,
I'm going the Guns on this one. I think the Guns are going to be the ones to pick up the win. I think MJF tries to do it by himself and he loses. We have Sting and Darby Allin and Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage, the Pokemon Lucha Kane and Nick Wayne. Who do you think's taking out the win on this one?
I still think it could go to Sting, Darby, and Adam, but knowing that Christian's got the human Pokemon, the turncoat of Nick Wayne. The three of them are pretty good too, but I think I'm still going to give it to Sting, Darby, and Adam.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think Sting, Darby, and Adam. I think you can't have Adam Copeland lose straight away because it's his second match in.
Yeah, this is going to be his second match in,
or is it his third match in? Because he wrestled on Collision, didn't he?
I don't remember him doing so. Okay. I remember his first match being on a Tuesday night against the human Pokemon. So
yeah. We've got Orange Cassidy versus John Moxley for the International Championship.
Okay.
I think this sneakily has the ability to be one of the best matches on the card.
I agree.
And I think we're going to see a different side to Orange Cassidy, but I think John Moxley's going to walk away with the belt.
That I feel like that could be highly possible. But with Orange, I wouldn't. Again, the shades and the laid back demeanor are all a facade to the true beast that's within him. I would not be surprised if Orange Cassidy were to actually retain.
Okay, interesting. Hangman versus Swerve Strickland
in the Texas Death Match. Oh boy! I mean, like I said, I think like most people know, Adam Page is no stranger to Texas Death Matches. I mean, for crying out loud, when he held the AEW World Title and Adam Cole challenged him for it in a Texas Death Match, Adam Page had that absolute nerve to weave a crown of barbed wire and stick it on Adam Cole's head on a Good Friday, for crying out loud.
So your pick is Hangman?
But, I mean, knowing that Swerve still took the win, at Wrestle Dream, I feel like now that the events that have come from between Wrestle Dream and before Full Gear, I think we're going to see a bit more of a Hangman Adam Page that is going to be more unhinged than what he usually is. I would not be surprised if Hangman Adam Page took a W out of this.
Okay. I'll agree with you on that one. I think that we're definitely going to see a slightly more intense Hangman. I think that it's been good for his character, this one, and I think it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. We've got the Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks. We discussed this earlier. I think it's going to be probably it's a hard one for me. I think Jericho's going to get the ego on him and say we're going to win this match.
Yeah, like it's weird because you've got you have Young Bucks who have complete home field advantage, but then you've got the Golden Jets in front of you, which is comprised of two of the greatest wrestlers that have walked the earth at this point in time. Chris Jericho obviously being a GOAT, and Kenny Omega just being one of the top guys in the world ever since New Japan. So
yeah,
as much as I feel like Young Bucks could lead as much as they could lead a strong comeback, they'll be participating in the Frank Costanza challenge because they stopped short.
Fair enough. Ricky Starks and Big Bill, the AEW World Tag Team Champions, take on La Facción Ingobernables, Rush and Dralistico, FTR, and the Kings of the Black Throne for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So
this one's
a fatal four-way for the tag titles. What do you think is going to happen here?
This one is absolutely wild for me, knowing that there are these four separate teams vying for the same title. I think like looking at them all, obviously Ricky Starks and Big Bill were the ones that took the tag titles off of FTR about a month ago and shocked a lot of wrestling fans. Yeah. Probably made a few angry because I think
You're not wrong. I think it did make a few people angry. I think, and that's why people were pissed when FTR put up the tweet saying top guys out. But that's their friggin' catchphrase.
Exactly. But I feel like it could still go in many different directions. As much as it looks like FTR would be the easy choice so that they could get their lick back, but I would not be mad to see a team such as LFI with Rush and Dralistico being world tag team champions, because
I think they're the dark horses of this match. I think they really are the dark horses of this match.
They are definitely dark horses of the match. And then, of course, last but definitely not least, you have the Kings of the Black Throne, and Malachi Black and Brody King. Both of them are definitely both Malachi and Brody are absolutely talented, like absolutely dark and mysterious. Not to mention very archaic in show, but I'm just a little concerned about them winning the tag titles, knowing that knowing that the House of Black has already achieved trios title champions.
Well, they've had tag titles and trios titles, so yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Kings of the Black Throne were tag team champions in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, I believe.
And I believe they were AEW tag team champions, weren't they?
I don't quite remember if
Pretty sure they were, but I think for me, it's either going to be Kings of the Black Throne or LFI are going to walk out with the belts. One of those two teams.
Yeah, I
if
see.
I had to choose, I'm probably going to say the Kings of the Black Throne.
I'm thinking. I think I'm going with the opposite here, and I'd like to go with LFI because I feel like when Andrade originally brought like El Toro Blanco Rouge in when he did, it was I feel like it was gonna be a way for Andrade to sort of take sort of like similar
to get a title and actually
to actually bring the kind of revive the group back, bring them into AEW and revitalize. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Revitalize what the faction is and what it stands for. Not just something that looks like it got copied off of Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the first of two women's matches. We've got the Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart versus Sky Blue for the TBS Championship. We discussed this one earlier. I think that it's going to be Julia Hart that walks out with the belt. I wanted Sky Blue in the match, but I also didn't want her in the match because of this situation.
Right.
Like, I wanted her in the match if it was going to be like a one-on-one sort of thing, but I didn't want her in the match if it was going to be a three-way, because now we've just kind of made it obvious that someone's getting screwed. Yeah. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. Like,
I think that unfortunately Sky Blue plays the victim here, and she's going to fall. Like, it's not that she's going to fall to the wayside. It's just going to be that she falls victim to the turn, and it's kind of obvious. And it's a bit disheartening in that regard. I mean, we could be proven wrong. Like, they could completely switch it up and just keep the belt on Chris, or they could turn around and put the belt on Sky. Who the hell knows? We'll find out on Saturday, I guess. Then we've got the you okay over there, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I thought you may have been falling asleep.
I just need more caffeine. That's all I need.
It is pretty late for you guys. We've got the main event for the women, which is Hikaru Shida versus Timeless Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. I see Timeless Toni Storm walking out with the belt.
I definitely think I'm kind of thinking the same thing.
I think Shida is unfortunately a transitional champion, and I think that Toni Storm is definitely the one to take it off her.
Yep, and you know what? I might throw something in here that might stir the pot a little bit. I don't know. Like, again, this is a little random, so I don't know how I came up with this, but seeing Mariah May become, like I said, a bit of a Mickey James super fan, I feel like somewhere during the match, like Mariah May somehow gonna be able to sneak something in so that Tony wins.
Yep. Cool. And then obviously we have the go home match, the main event of the show, the biggest match of Jay White. Well, probably not the biggest match of Jay White's career. Biggest match of Jay White's AEW career for the AEW World Championship, MJF versus Jay White. What's your go on this? Do you think Jay White walks out with the belt? Do you think that MJF loses everything here? Do they keep the belt on MJF and push more challenges for him till the 2024 contract renewal?
It's honestly very tough to think of to begin with because I feel like it would be different only because oh man. Had it, then lost it.
Do you think Adam Cole comes back and costs MJF the match? Do you think
no, his.
Or do you think Roddy Strong gets involved and then we get maybe Adam Cole coming back and saving MJF? Yeah. There's so many variables to it. What do you think is the biggest possibility?
Yeah, I'm really thinking. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think there's so much. There's so many variables. Does the devil come into play? Do we get a reveal of the devil? Do we get? There's so much to play here that it's like, what do we do? What do we get? A brand new world champion? Do we keep the belt on MJF? There's so much intrigue going into this main event. Yeah. But anyway, guys, we're going to end it here. Thank you for coming on, Phil. I really appreciate it. It's been a good show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you check out Phil on TikTok, Twitch, everywhere. Wrestle Talk. Any other social medias that you're on?
Yeah, you can catch me basically any major form of social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter or X, whatever Elon Musk needs to call it. Make up your mind already, god damn it. IG, Snapchat. My name on Snapchat is Prometheus King 6, not Phil the Future. I don't know what happened. Must have been a typo. You can find me on WhatsApp. I think we said TikTok, Twitch. Yeah, doing all that. Every Tuesday, right after NXT on off the top with Off the Top Media. I am co-hosting a post-show review with my good friends Scales and Jax called NXT on Tap. We open up the kegs and we talk about what's happening in the world of NXT. So if you guys are looking for anything to do right after you're done watching NXT, just hop on board on either Twitch and or YouTube, and we'll be happy to go through the entire card that night and answer your questions or bring your comments up, anything you want to bring up.
Yeah. You can find me here on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. I haven't done much on TikTok lately, but I will be putting a few more things on there coming up soon. It's been a pleasure being here with you, Phil. Thank you for sticking around. I know it's late, and I apologize for keeping you up.
You're good.
Jake has asked, who do we think the free agent is that Tony Khan's bringing into Full Gear? We did go over that, Jake. There's only a few to choose from. There's not much else we can say in that regard. I will leave you with this, though. I am thinking about doing a Full Gear recap after Full Gear. Depends on timing of the show, depends on how I feel after the show, but there is a high possibility that on Saturday/Sunday, there will be another live stream. So catch me then. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And thank you once again, Phil, for sticking it out. It's been a great night or great time. Take care, my friends.